Married 10 years. Wife cheating and confronted her. So I need some honest advice here. My wife and I married 10 years, kids, great relationship, and I would regard her as my best friend up to about 3 days ago. I had massive amount of data being used on my phone. Turned out to be an app, no big deal. However, when I pulled up the usage data, it automatically pulls up phone calls first. I see a 45-minute phone call at 2 a.m. in the morning to a number I don't know. So I look up the number and how many calls, how long, etc. Turns out there is 37 calls to this number, 25 of them after I've been asleep in bed. Many of them at 1, 2, 3, even 4 in the morning. I confronted her. She has a great new job, with an intelligent boss she envies, and made this clear to me. I've always trusted her. All the calls were to her boss. He calls only 3 or 4 times. She said everything they talked about was work-related, insisted on it over and over again. Despite this, I know some of the nights we had been having a few toddies, weekends. She also lied to me 2 months ago when she said she went running by herself at 5:30 a.m. She did, but he ended up showing up and said he couldn't run that early. Not a big deal because she told me she was running with him, but she insisted when she got back that he never even showed up. So why lie about it? Really weird. I called her on it, and she said she loves me and only has feelings for me, and she wouldn't destroy her career and his career by cheating. More emphasis on what she would lose than she loves me. He has a super fancy pants sports car and is married with kids himself. When he was on a business trip, my wife said he needed to text her updates of the conference. He ends up sending her a picture of a $75K car he's thinking about buying. She shows me, but still pretty weird that he is texting this to his employee, right? Aside from that, she removed texting from the iPad and her computer at home. She also changed the passwords on this account. I made her show me the messages to him. She had erased them all. So now what? Was she having a physical affair too? She says absolutely not. It was all business related. I will say she's addicted to education and learning and would not be surprised to hear this. But the fact he was receptive to her calls in the middle of the night is messed up. Update. 4 days after I found out, we have been talking over the past few days and arguing and whatnot. She insists she loves me, has only loved me, and will always only love me. That nothing physical ever happened. That the new job got her worked up. Someone could have died if she had put the wrong thing in, and that she called him late one night because she needed to make sure what she did was right. That turned into several calls late at night. She admits to calling that she never emotionally cheated because it really was work-related. She has zero feelings for him, and their relationship has been and still is 100% professional only. Fair enough. I'm reasonable. This seems reasonable. She willingly gave me her iPhone and said install spyware on it. I told her I would be recovering all the messages, and she said that is fine. So maybe I am being over the top? But why erase them if it wasn't incriminating? She said she didn't think I would like it if I knew she was texting him. I said, 1, do you think I like finding out you erased all the messages more? 2, if it was all professional, why would I care? She has apologized about 1,000,000 times, promises it will never happen again, but I cannot get over the erasing of the messages. It would be chilling to see if she erases these when I called her at work to ask her about the number. If she erased them right after I called, the messages will more than likely be incriminating. Update number 1. Sorry not updated in a while. This sucks. So the texting continued to happen. The calls stopped. So over the course of the last 7 months, without getting into too much detail as this would go on forever, she continued to get texts from him. She got a couple from him asking if he can buy her lingerie and telling her how great her body is. She texted him back. She said, don't test me. He said, I'd love to test you. All night long. I saved everything. When this was occurring, we still had a great relationship. Love yous, kissing every morning. Then a few weeks ago, they went to a conference together. She hung up on me when I called, then immediately called him from her room to his room, so it wouldn't be on phone records. Detail here. He called her from a cell phone not belonging to him, so I wouldn't be able to track it. He shows up. Also, I have the entire audio of this. I listened when she got home. She completely froze up. Couldn't believe what was happening and that I knew. Things got pretty hairy. No violence, just yelling and screaming. I left. She spent a couple of days with kids at her parents'. She came back, wants to work things out, agreed to counseling. I'm a mess. Have no idea what to do. I love her, believe she is my soulmate. She said that they were both just f***ed up, and that here they were making things happen together and the adrenaline and rush of it all, yada yada. But he is such a predator. They still work together, albeit far less. What do I do? He has said that he has told his wife, but I've seen the messages and appears he didn't tell her everything, like the part where they are f***ed, which is pretty clear on the audio. You don't have any concrete evidence that they are having a physical affair. You have more than enough evidence to establish they are having an emotional affair. She has sailed across the appropriate boundary lines in the context of a typical monogamous marriage. It is not appropriate for her to carry on for hours at a time, via text and phone in the middle of the night with another man. Even less so if she's lying about it and hiding it from you. She needs to get right. That starts with no more seeing him outside of work. No more personal texts or phone calls. If she is able to look for a new job, she should. She needs to be totally and proactively honest with you, and she needs to allow full transparency to her phone, email, and social media accounts. She may not have had it with him, but she's clearly violated your marital trust. You should both get to couples counseling immediately. Make it crystal clear to her that she has put your marriage in jeopardy and that only a 100% commitment from her to get things back on track will save it. Aside from that, she removed texting from the iPad and her computer at home. She also changed the passwords on this account. I made her show me the messages to him. She had erased them all. So now what? Was she having a physical affair too? She says absolutely not at all. It was all business related. Nobody deletes recent business related text messages so urgent that they were sent in the middle of the night. Hell, most businesses have retention policies that forbid deletion of communications. A spouse with nothing to hide from her spouse does not change passwords and restrict access from computer devices after being called out on strange behavior that shows a suspicious pattern. More emphasis on what she would lose than she loves me. You were smart to pick up on this fact. If you have any idea where she writes down her password, then I would recommend snooping. I usually don't recommend that, but she keeps giving you a good reason to do so. At a minimum, she is having an emotional affair. My bet is that they are screwing. She is going to deny it to the end unless you catch her red-handed. If the calls were work-related, they could be made in front of you. Fact of the matter is, she is calling him when you are asleep for a reason. She wouldn't destroy her career and his career by cheating. This is the most important thing on her mind. What would I do? This is a hard one because it can get messy real fast. If you confront him, they are just going to get better at hiding it. What about contacting his wife? My wife cheated on me with her boss. She also told me how great he was compared to her former boss. The only thing she ever confessed to was French kissing. That right there essentially told me it was most likely. She was very much into him. They went on a 2-week work trip. I never knew for sure, but my gut feeling told me they were having sex. Of course they were. She saw a photo on Facebook one time of him hiking with his wife, heaven forbid, and she broke down in tears. She was way on him. I would end this. All the secrecy is covering what you already know in your gut anyways. Hang in there. Drop her like a bad habit. At the very least, she has repeatedly lied to you, and you have more than enough reason to be very worried. The fact is, if you truly love someone, you wouldn't do that kind of thing to make them worry. It's not at all inappropriate to ask your wife to stop talking to anyone in the middle of the night, especially in a circumstance like this. If she truly loves you and isn't having an affair, she will comply. If she refuses to stop talking to him at all hours, if she refuses to let you see their convos, if she refuses to stop running with him / seeing him outside work, then you have a very serious issue. If she refuses to do what she needs to do to make you feel better, then at the very least, you need to start getting counseling ASAP, individual and as a couple.
Let's move on to my thoughts and advice for the person that is dealing with this problem. While there isn't concrete evidence of physical infidelity, the story strongly suggests emotional infidelity. The wife's late-night calls and text messages with her boss, as well as her attempts to hide and erase them, raise significant concerns about the boundaries of the relationship. Trust is a fundamental pillar of any healthy relationship, especially in a marriage. The husband's lack of trust, due to the secretive behavior and emotional connection between his wife and her boss, is understandable. Transparency and open communication are essential to rebuild trust. Seeking couples counseling is a positive step to address these issues and work towards rebuilding the relationship. A professional therapist can help both parties communicate more effectively and navigate the emotional challenges they are facing. The story doesn't mention whether they have children, but if they do, it's essential to consider how their actions and decisions will impact their family and children's well-being. Children are often deeply affected by marital problems. The husband faces a difficult decision. He can either give his wife an ultimatum to end the inappropriate relationship with her boss and seek counseling seriously, or he may decide that the trust has been too severely damaged to continue the marriage. Regardless of the outcome, both spouses should reflect on their actions and decisions in this situation. It's an opportunity for personal growth and learning to establish healthier boundaries in communication in future relationships. Ultimately, the course of action to take in this situation will depend on the individuals involved and their willingness to work through the issues and rebuild trust. Communication, honesty, and professional guidance through counseling are crucial steps in addressing these challenges and making informed decisions about the future of their marriage. I wish you the best of luck moving forward. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to today's stories. If you enjoyed listening, please feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, comment below with your thoughts on what happened. Take care.